So
Riley, you are the biggest Denny Hamlin fan in the world. Try to explain this.
100% not true.
Because I have screamed on this podcast before that Denny Hamlin is a hypocrite. And he goes in there, he gets raced like he raced Kyle Larson, and he flips his shit. And that is my biggest problem with Denny Hamlin.
Sure.
Even though he contradicted himself because he said he had no problem with how Kyle Larson raced him, but yet he runs in the back of him after the stage.
So what I think...
What the hell's going on?
So what I think, and this is just from somebody that also has...
Somebody that you used to know?
A little bit of that.
You didn't have to cut me out.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I will liken this back to iRacing because it's the only thing that I can compare it to. I race quite a bit.
You suck at it.
When you're in a race car and you're focused out the windshield and you've got the steering wheel in your hands and all you can see is your front bumper, things look a little bit worse than what they are sometimes. And you can agree with that. Somebody cutting you off may look more egregious to you than what actually happened once you go back and review. All this happened before the red flag for rain. So what I think happened is Denny figured what Kyle Larson...
No, it didn't.
Yes,
Stage two ended after the rain delay.
Was this not before the rain delay? I thought his issues were before the rain delay.
I think the Joey thing was before the rain delay, but I think
I could have sworn
the end of stage two.
Either way, whether
The
it's
first stage was 70 laps. They red flagged the race like at lap 130.
130 something, and we're sure it was at the end of stage two. So, anyways,
When Kyle moved Denny up the track, yeah.
so all right. Well then, maybe he didn't review. Well then, I'll say this then.
Let me backtrack that statement.
Let me backtrack that statement. If it wasn't the end of stage two,
Oh, it was the end of stage two, but it wasn't before
the rain delay. That's what I meant. So my argument will still work here. If it happened to him, and there's still 200 laps left or whatever there was, 100 laps left, whatever it was, you're more mad in the moment. So you go up there, show your displeasure with the 5, beat his bumper cover off. You realize, as you calm down, I probably overreacted to that a little bit. You get out of the car. Yeah, we were just racing. It is what it is. But you also have to think, Denny's been penalized before for saying what he actually thinks. So he's not going to get out of the car and say, yeah, fuck Kyle Larson for racing me that way. I was trying to beat his bumper cover off. Fuck him. He's not going to say what he actually believes anymore because he's been penalized. Do I actually think that he was mad at Denny or at Kyle? Yeah, he probably wasn't the moment. But when he got out of the car, I don't think he was mad at Kyle anymore. You got to think, him and Kyle are friends. They hang out, they golf, they play video games together, they play basketball together, whatever they got to do. They're buddies. On the racetrack, not so much. But him getting out of the car, him saying, yeah, I didn't have a problem with the way Kyle raced me. It is what it is. I think that's his actual opinion. But when you're in the race car, you're a different person. You think about things a different way when you're sitting there with the steering wheel in your hands and you're pissed that you're going to get this point and this guy runs you up the track. You're mad about it. You beat his bumper cover off. 10 laps into the next run, you're probably sitting there thinking, I probably overreacted to that. It wasn't that big of a deal. So, do I think that Denny was being a hypocrite there? Yes. But do I think that that's normal? Also, yes. A lot of race car drivers do that. A lot of race car drivers bitch and moan about how other people race them, and then they turn around and race them the same way. My biggest issue with this, you're probably going to disagree, but is with Kyle Larson. And the reason my biggest issue is with Kyle Larson is because You can't sit there and tell your spotter to shut the fuck up for telling you to go in there and retaliate on a guy.
I think that's what he was trying to do, though.
And then you go in there and retaliate on a guy, not once, but twice, and then you wreck the wrong guy that has nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, him and Ross have a history, but that's not what he was going
but that's not what he's trying to do.
No.
So, like, really, Kyle's the one that's, like, kind of coming out smelling like shit, in my opinion. But, like, this is a nothing issue again, I think, this week. I think this is just racing, and people have, beat and bang, and they have problems with each other. I mean, hell, Kyle Busch has beat the bumper cover off the damn pace car before. Shit happens. I mean, you show your displeasure. It is what it is. But, like, there were plenty of things that happened in this race that we'll talk about later about people actually wrecking each other under caution.
But Denny hit the hell out of him. That first time.
Sure.
Kyle Larson could have hit the wall there.
But he didn't.
I know he
didn't right hook him.
He did not.
He went up there and said, fuck you.
I'm about to say this fucking bug.
That's it.
Sorry, bug flew on my face.
Bug flutie?
Good one. I think that, it feels good to be right because, and I know Denny Hamlin understands he's not the perfect human being in the world, and nobody is. There's one guy in this whole world that was perfect. Nobody else is perfect, and I get that. However, Denny Hamlin has preached, oh, man, I just run the way I run, I run people hard, all that stuff. And then, especially to a guy that is your buddy and that you have had previous encounters with you getting the better end of the deal of the situations. I know in the moment you would be frustrated there, but you have to think, like, man, I've roughed this guy up a couple times here. Whether you think it was roughed up or not, you've used him. You've used him up for sure. That was fair. I got loose off 4. If I don't want that to happen, I should get a better run off 4, and this shit doesn't happen to begin with. That's your own damn fault. So I get that. I get that angle. But then after the stage, you can't do that. I just don't. Like, we would bitch and moan if that was fucking, which we have. Kyle Busch, if he did it. Chase Elliott, if he did it. Hell, I bitched at Chase Elliott last year. I think it was at Vegas when he kind of door slammed Kyle Larson off pit road because Larson didn't give him a whole lot of room, but Larson had another car on the outside of him. Remember that? Mm. And I kind of said, "Hey, Chase, you can't do that under caution. That's just not right." Ty Gibbs, he turned. Remember when he was substituting for Kurt Busch back in 2022 at Texas? He sideswiped. I think it was Ty Dillon off pit road.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't do that stuff. Under caution, I don't care how upset you are with somebody. If you're upset with somebody, pull up beside them and, show them the finger like Joey did to you or whatever. Do that if you're upset with Kyle Larson, which, by the way, I don't think you should be upset with Kyle Larson to begin with because, like I said, you would have had a history and you have come out on the better end of pretty much every situation. Having said all that, then you do have a good point with Kyle there at the end. I get what Kyle was doing there, trying to move the 11 up the track, which would have been fair. Denny probably would have done it to Kyle. I don't know that, but we've seen prior history. Denny Hamlin he cut off his teammate earlier in the race. Christopher Bell off of 2, about wrecked him. Did the same thing with Bo Wallace. Like, Denny is an aggressive driver. So you can't be mad at somebody for racing you aggressively when you do it to them all the time. Hell, even your teammates. So, I know nobody's perfect. And, I get why Denny would be maybe upset in the moment, but you can't act like that. Like, all the stuff you talk about, I just don't like it. I didn't like it. If this is what, Chase Elliott, I'd get it. I'd get it more. If this was Truex, I'd get it more. If this was almost just about anybody else other than maybe Ross, I'd get it. But the fact that it was Kyle Larson that ran you up the track, like, bro, you've run him up the track like 4 times. Like, come on, man. Use some self-awareness. I didn't like that. But, Larson, I agree. Larson fucked up bad. And maybe this is why he didn't, like, Tyler Mond talking to him like that at New Hampshire because, like, hey, bro, I'm not good at retaliation. I can't really race people. I can't really move people out the way like that. Like, I can run up the track and give them no room. I'm good at that. But, or door slamming somebody for a win, that was fucking egregious, like you said at Kansas. But, you know, maybe he's not good at moving people out the way. And, you know, that's fair. Kyle Larson, he fucked up, hit the apron. And he, you know, somebody made this point that he's probably, has there ever been a more talented driver that makes more mistakes in those situations? Maybe not. You know, Kyle Busch back in the day when he was really young, he'd make a lot of mistakes like that. But eventually he stopped making those mistakes. Kyle Larson is what, 30, 31? Like he's in his prime. Like it's about time to stop making these type of mistakes. So Kyle Larson needs to understand and try to learn from this. You know, I don't blame him for the move, but you can't fuck it up and take another guy out. And you know, that was definitely bad by Larson's standards. But I think Denny was wrong for the way he acted after the stage. And I think Kyle was wrong, obviously, for making the mistake the way he did, trying to move Denny out the way, and you know, made a mistake, took out the wrong driver. I just think, you know, it's going to be an ongoing, and I think I disagree with Kyle because he said it's not really a rivalry. It is a rivalry. At this point, when you have so many run-ins, it becomes a rivalry.